Your provider has ordered the Vibrant Wellness Adrenal Saliva Kit. You will see the contents of the kit outlined here on the table. We'll first reference the guidance key here listed on this form that's included within your kit, where step 1 indicates doing exactly this, separating everything out that's included within this provided envelope onto a table so that you can make sure that everything is included within your sample here. Step number 2, we'll talk more about how we need to collect our testing kit. It's very important that we collect all of these samples on the very same day. Any men, children, or women who no longer have a period are allowed to collect this at any time during the month. Any menstruating women where we are collecting any sex hormones will need to collect this if they have regular cycles, either on day 19, 20, or 21 of the menstrual cycle, where day 1 is the very first day of bleeding. In order to prepare for the sample collection, it's important to not eat for 2 to 3 hours before we collect this, and also do not brush your teeth or drink anything except for water in that same 2 to 3 hour time period. Right before you collect your sample here, what's important that we do is refer back to these tags and which tube we are using. Blue is morning right before breakfast, so that will be at least, again, a 2 or 3 hour fasting window. Yellow will be right before lunch, green is right before dinner, and red is right before bedtime. These tags here are listing all of the according sample times that you will do. So you'll notice this one says morning, and so you'll put the morning tag right here on this blue vial and then do the same for the rest. With these tags, even though they are small, it is important that you complete these labels here completely and legibly with your first and last name, date of birth, and the collection time, as well as the date that you collected it. So we'll refer back to this form here showing what we need to do immediately before we collect this. Step number 2 indicates that we need to rinse your mouth with water and wait for 5 minutes before you collect the sample. You will then put on this set of gloves and collect your saliva into this tube. Of course, based on the color coordination that we're doing and the time of day. In order to increase your saliva production, you can either chew, like you're pretending like you're chewing on food, think about your favorite food, smell your favorite food, or even smelling a jar of pickles will all help to increase your saliva production. After you have filled the saliva tube, really to at least about halfway, 3/4 if you can. When you get these vials, you will notice that there's very small numbers on here, so you'll fill it to at least 3 or 4 when you get these vials. After you have filled this here to that section, you will tighten the cap nice and tight and make sure that this label is corresponding to the color here, which, just for reference, if you forget, is at the very top of this form here. You will then just set it. You can either put it into a bag here or just in another place that you will have all of them together. It does not need to be refrigerated or frozen. After each collection, you can set aside this set of gloves that's included, or with each collection, you can get a new set of gloves if you'd like to, making sure that your hands are nice and clean. After this is collected, what we want to make sure all these labels are filled out correctly, completely, and legibly attached to the corresponding vial. The gloves will be thrown out at this point, and then we'll refer to our requisition and extra screening information. This yellow page does need to be completed if we are testing for any amount of sex hormones, but likely won't have to be completed for doing any amount of cortisol testing. If you're unsure of what you are doing, go ahead and reach out to your provider. They will clarify. This white form here is showing your requisition, which indicates all of your patient information, the provider who's ordering it, as well as some information with the required tubes. If there's anything that happened during the collection of these tubes, go ahead and make that comment in the note section here on that very first page. This second page here will also be something that you will be in charge of, with just listing the date of collection that you collected all of these tubes, so make sure this is filled out before you send it off. And then this section here just indicates the testing that we are ordering, as well as the payment information mentioned. You will have paid for this kit before you leave our office, and you're responsible for cash payment. Insurance is not accepted. Then we'll refer back to this, make sure that we're filling this out, definitely for doing sex hormone testing, but check with your provider if needed for cortisol testing. I'll just set this aside because this will not be needed to ship out, but included when we ship everything out, this is what you will do. You can fold this into quarters here, just like so. Set this with the completed yellow portion into the pocket on the backhand side of this biohazard bag. All of these labels will be attached to these vials, but I'm going to set those aside for now. You'll take all of these vials, making sure that the caps are nice and screwed tight. Place them into this bag, seal it like a normal Ziploc bag, and then place all of these contents into this prepaid FedEx envelope here. Fold it in half to take any air out, and then remove this plastic piece exposing the adhesive and close, and take to a FedEx near you. Again, this is a prepaid envelope. If you have any questions, please contact your provider.